Hey there viewers, and welcome back to Grumpy Monkey Garage, where today I will not be pooping all over the Dodge Mopar guys because I think I've found something they've done right. All right, so what I've got for you this time is I've bought the newest generation of Dodge Dakota. Now that's newest so far because apparently Fiat is deciding to bring something small like this back, and there's talk of it being the Ram Rampage or the new Dakota. So I'm excited to see what comes out of Fiat these days. But these were the last of the Dodge Dakotas before it became Ram Dakota or whatever the new one is. I like these quite a lot, and I'm changing my opinion by the day on Mopar because of these little trucks. And you might be asking, why did you suffer a head injury? That has the 4.7 you made a whole video about on how terrible it is. Well, don't worry about that. I still know it's a Dodge, but this little truck, small truck, can do everything just badly. Let's talk about the engine first. Now, I'm going to start with the complaint department of the engine because I don't have a lot of complaining to do, but this, first of all, has the dumbest hood design ever because it's like right here, which is stupid. And oh, it's got the instant concussion sticks, of course, because those work real good. There we go. We'll just use a piece of trash on a piece of trash. That's how you know it's good. There. That's all the safety. Oh yeah. Okay, it's not all the safety. I'm gonna stand away from it, but this is the 4.7 liter piece of shit that you should never buy ever, except maybe in this case. In this tiny configuration with this gas mileage, which you can see a picture of here. I'm getting 20 miles to the gallon out of this thing, which I'm pretty happy with. This does not suck as bad. The other engine option you got in this, I guess this would be the 3rd gen Dakota, is the 3.7, which is completely pointless, and I'll tell you why. It has all the problems of the 4.7, but it still gets 20 miles to the gallon. So if you're gonna get 20 miles to the gallon, why wouldn't you want the 8 that has 7,500 pounds of towing instead of like 4,000 pounds of towing out of the 6-cylinder if they both get the same gas mileage? Get the fun one, get the V8 like this. Also, that's part of the reason this truck can do everything. 7,500 pounds, that's enough to pull a car hauler. I could pull a car hauler with this, which would fit in a garage. That's awesome. And then when I'm not pulling a car, well, I can get 20 miles to the gallon going back and forth to work. Let's talk about work at the tailgate. Let's see if I can do this without guillotining myself. Now, working with this truck has been awesome. Now, I bought this, and of course, before I do a review, I have to live with it a little while to make sure my review is accurate. Because a lot of times as a mechanic, I get jaded because the stuff that comes into the shop, well, it's in the shop because it's broken. So everything I see is broken. But I bought this one, and it's not that bad. We'll get to some of the problems I've had to fix because, of course, I bought one for as affordable price as I could, but this bed has been awesome. I do want to complain for a minute that the tie-down points are weird. Not that they're unusable or bad or poorly designed, they're just weird. I'm not used to these. I'll show you some close-up footage of how these are supposed to work. They're just odd. But working with this truck, now I'm a mechanic full-time, and I get a lot of engines and transmissions and starters and rotors and all kinds of crap. So earlier today, I took the cameraman with me, and we went and hauled 1,200 pounds of crap in the bed of this thing. That's 1,200 pounds of crap. That's what the scale said I had dumped when I dumped all the stuff out of this bed. This thing only went down 1 inch in squat, which is very impressive because I've hauled a similar scrap load with my other small trucks. I have 2 Rangers, an S10, a Frontier, and a D21. I've used all those to haul scrap. This squatted the least. So I'm the most impressed with the undercarriage and suspension of this thing compared to the others. Now, is that really a fair comparison? Not really. This is a V8. It's also the newest truck I have with the lowest mileage, so it's not really a fair comparison. But I would say that as far as truck sizes, it's fair. This is the same length and has the same seating chart as an S10, a Ranger, or a Frontier would. So in that regard, it is a little fair, I think, as far as size and price point. Now, you can haul a lot of stuff, but what about stuff as far as work, toolboxes and whatnot? Well, you can see a picture of us putting an S10 toolbox in here. This is sized very weirdly. It's actually a little wider than an S10 pickup, and I think it's a little bit longer too, which is actually nice. You can fit more crap, but if you're looking for tonneau covers or toolboxes, camper shells, they're all gonna be a weird size, even though I think this is a standard 6-foot short bed. It's just a weird size, and if you have the crew cab Dakota, forget it. You're never gonna find anything that fits that bed for a camper or a tonneau or anything. I'm sure they exist out there, but I keep running into weird stuff about this truck that makes it hard to get stuff for. An example of that would be the tires. These tires are 255, 60 something, R16, yeah. So nobody else has a 255 tire. That's a weird size. Everybody has a 245 or a 265. 255 is odd. So nobody has them in stock. You have to kind of order these online to get them anywhere. So it's weird. There's weird stuff like that. It's definitely still a Dodge, but I'm enjoying the truck. It hauls the stuff well. It pulls a trailer well, and I don't even have a hitch on this thing. I just put it on the little bumper ball there, which was all the scary, but it hauled it, pulled the trailer just fine. And that time when I was hauling scrap, I had the full, the pickup truck bed trailer behind me, and it had about 2,000 pounds of stuff in it. This thing didn't care at all. 7,500 pounds, I fully believe it's capable of it. Now for some interesting thoughts on the interior, because it's not all good, not all bad. Let's go in there. All right, so interiors, when you're using the truck, that's where you're gonna spend your time, right? Here and working off the tailgate. This interior, I really think Dodge did okay with, as far as the convenience and the features. Now, normally you have companies like GM with the S10s who the doors fall off, the cup holders are unusable, and the interior is basically just complete crap, but they made a good drivetrain. Then you have Ford that spent all the money on the interior, making a really good quality interior and cab, none of it on the drivetrain, and made crap. I think Dodge is the middle ground. I love these cup holders, and I always notice the cup holders first because when you're out working, you need your water bottle to stay hydrated. You might go get a coffee in the morning. You got things you need to do. Adjustable cup holders in 2005. That's amazing. I love that everything up here is very simple to use for the radio and HVAC controls. There's no touch screen scrolling BS that I hate. We have an overhead console that tells us our gas mileage, and it tells us directions, and it's accurate, and I'm really happy with that. We also have heated seats in a base model pickup truck. Well, not base model, entry-level pickup truck. This is a high-trim Dakota, but this isn't a Ram 3500 or something. And it's got heated seats, and they work, and I'm really excited about that. Got cruise control, but a lot of the makes had cruise control, but I don't know of an S10 or a Ranger with heated seats. Also, the center console's amazing. We've got a pin holder, which is pretty cool, and a business card holder, which is pretty cool, and a giant, like, deep, look at this, like, all the way in there, deep center console. So the console's good, the cup holders are good. I don't know if this was a radio or a phone holder or whatever this is, but I use it as a phone holder and it's working great for me. Glove box is massive, I really like that, and it hasn't broken yet, which I know later Chrysler decided to do a lot of glove box deleting, but I haven't had trouble with this one yet. The door panels are terrible, the seat is terrible, all of that is broken, the seatbelt broke. Of all things to break, safety features, Chrysler, should not be things that fail. And the seatbelt did not work in the driver's seat. So what you had to do, if this ever happens to you, if you buy one and you're on the road, is come over here and buckle it into the passenger seat. Now you can still get where you're going and you still have some kind of safety, which still you need to fix it, but this will get you by. And if you have a passenger with you, just take this seatbelt, run the passenger seatbelt through this and into this one, basically ratchet strapping you both in. Don't just ride with no seatbelt, that's dangerous. The tilt wheel is broken, but it would be a nice feature if it worked. The air conditioning is nice, it's very efficient for this cabin. Rear seats. Now, I know the Rangers and S10s and the Frontiers and whatnot, the rear seats on an extended cab aren't really there to be seats. It's more for your stuff. But I don't think human beings are meant to fit in these. Also, talking about the rear seats, these have suicide doors, doors that open the other way. I'll try to find a picture of one of these that works, but every single Dakota I've ever worked on, this one that I've owned, all the ones in the junkyard I went to trying to fix this problem, none of the rear doors open. So somebody put in the comments how to fix this, other than ripping the panel off and kicking it open like this is Sparta and then addressing the cable issue or whatever the problem is. But why are they always broken? Every single Dakota, all of them. There must have been 50 that I've looked at between 3 junkyards and customer cars and now mine. They're all broke. Why? Why are they all broken? That's usually a Ford problem, the suicide door's not working. So that's irritating. That's about all I need to talk about with the interior. Let's talk about a few more things on the exterior. One of the weird things about this generation Dodge Dakota is every generation of Dodge Dakota has changed its exterior styling. Look at this thing. There's not a straight line on this thing, but yet it looks like it's made up of entirely straight lines. Very boxy design. This looks like the Roblox truck. I mean, look at it. It's kind of squarish, but then not really. It's very odd, but they've changed it a lot. Now, what's interesting when I talk about the designs of exteriors, especially with trucks, is a lot of trucks, you could tell it's an F-150 because it's an F-150 because they all look like F-150s because it's an F-150. Unless you go back to the 80s and it actually looked like a work truck instead of a laptop on wheels. And a Silverado looks like a Silverado, looks like a Silverado, looks like a Silverado, until you go back to the 90s and 80s when they were, work trucks and not a laptop on wheels. Dakotas changed their styling. Not every Dakota looks like every other Dakota. Look at this one and look at one from 2001. And then let's look at one from 1992. And then let's look at one from 87. And 87 was the first year for the Dodge Dakota, 2009 being the last so far. Hopefully they bring it back because I like small trucks. Before that, it was just called the Ram 50, and no one really cared about it. I think these deserve a second look. I really think Mopar made an excellent attempt at making a modest pickup truck, and they did a lot of things right. They did a truck that could do everything. Could haul a heavy payload, could tow a heavy trailer, could still get good gas mileage when you're empty, could still perform. It can still go off-roading. It can still do all the things you need out of a truck. It does everything, just not particularly well. There's always something that does better. Let me give you an example because I'm not just crapping on the Dodge people again. This truck can tow a ton of weight. Could a Ram 2500 do better? Absolutely. But is a Ram 2500 going to get 20 miles a gallon? No. Gas mileage is 20 miles a gallon. Or my Ranger gets 27 and my other Ranger gets 33. One's a 92 4-cylinder and one's a 96 V6. Both of those get better gas mileage, but they can't tow 7,500 pounds. I got an S10, a 2003 Chevy S10, very good, similar size engine, 4.3, this is 4.7. It can't tow that, it can only tow 5,000 pounds, and when you put 1,200 pounds in the bed, it's basically sitting on its bump stops at the end of the day. So this does everything, and it does everything okay, but there's always something that does it better. I wonder if that's what led to Chrysler's poor sales in the late generation of these to get rid of them. Also, the Dodge Ram of this generation, which we've done a review on, I've got one in our cheap truck towing and a third generation Ram review. The Ram was aggressive, it was very masculine, it was very in your face, oh, just Ram. This is a very moderate truck. This is something you could own in a neighborhood and use it for gardening, and you could use it to go pick up pool parts for your indoor pool, and you could do all kinds of stuff with it. It didn't just have to be rugged country boy terrain to own one of these. This is a very practical, reasonable truck. And I think that's why it didn't sell, because it's the wrong brand. Dodge does not sell reasonable cars. Can you name a small economy car from Dodge off the top of your head? Nope. The only ones they have is like the Dart, and that's a piece of junk, so that's not good. They don't have a Honda Civic. The same way they don't have a Dakota anymore. They've gotten rid of everything reasonable, and everything is big and bulgy with a Hellcat this and V8 that, and they're missing their market. This right here would have been an awesome truck if they would have kept doing it, kept designing it, got rid of that 4.7, gone to an upgraded engine, although I'm worried that they would have put the 3.6 in this eventually, and that's also bad. So maybe it's good they killed it off. I have conflicting thoughts on this truck. I like it. I know it has faults. It does everything I need it to do. What's to complain about other than it falling apart? Dodge Dakota. Should you buy one? What do you need to do with it? If it's a whole lot of everything, a bunch of random stuff, a bunch of different tasks, this is the Swiss Army knife of trucks. If you just need to haul big trailers, don't get it. If you just need to get good gas mileage, don't get it. If you need to haul a massive payload, there's no long bed option for this. Don't get it. But if you just need to do a lot of different things for a lot of different tasks and only want one truck, maybe give this one a think. Think about it. We'll see you next time on Grumpy Monkey Garage.